going on here, but we are not going to mind this. So the whole point, oh, before we start, these two books were written by Komi Afetzi, my dad. So this is the first book that came out, and this is the second book that came out, Chasing My Dream. So this basically tells about his life story, how he began, you know, where everything started, right? So it's definitely a good book. It's on Amazon. I will leave the link down below so you guys can go and check it out. They have English version and French version as well. Now this is the second book, Chasing Success, the 20 Secrets of Success for All Africans. So I think the title speaks for itself. So you guys should go definitely check it. These are really good books. And if you want to learn some key points to be successful in life, but yeah. Oh, also for this one, there's a French and English version as well. So yeah. Now let's come back to the actual topic. Well, the reason of this video. So since I've started this channel or this journey, whatever you want to call it, I think I have talked about myself. Some of my videos I did point out some little things about me, but I have not actually introduced myself, right? My name is Sarah. I mean, I'm not gonna start with my name, so y'all already know who I am. But let's talk about my background a little bit and what I do. So I'm Sarah. We're not gonna bring it. Anyway, I am from originally from Togo, West Africa, little country in West Africa. I was born and raised there, and half raised because I came to the States when I was, I think 14, 15. Yeah, I was very young when I came to the States. I came to the States in 2013. I will never forget. I came here 2013. And yeah, so I've kind of see it as I grew up a little bit in Togo, and I kind of grew up here too. When I first came here, obviously I did not speak English nor understood it. Maybe I understood English because when I was in high school, because back home, you know, they make you take a language class, right? And I had an English class, and yeah, English, fun fact, English was my favorite subject and my best as well. I did really good in English. But yeah, I was interested in English at a very young age. So I think that kind of helped me when I came to the States. I kind of learned English a little bit quick. So yeah, when I came in, when I came to the States, I did not understand English, just a little bit. Okay, I understood, right, what people were saying, but the issue was I cannot respond back, right? I understood the basic hi, how are you, stuff like that, but to have actual conversation, I'll be able to understand what the person is saying, but I cannot say it back, which was frustrating because at some point I started crying because I was like, I understand what you're saying, right? But I cannot say it back, which was frustrating once again, but slowly. So yeah, when I came here, well, back in Togo, I was already in high school, and how they set the grades between home and here is kind of a little bit different. So I'm not gonna say just like, I don't want to mix it up, but I was already in high school. But when I came to the States, I had to go to international school. So international school meaning people who speak more than people whose language is not their English is not, it's not their language, or English is not their first language. Basically, learning, translating from your language to English, if it makes sense. But yeah, so the school was called Newcomers, which was in North Carolina. Good old days. Yeah, it was in North Carolina, and so we were able to go to, well, the whole point is you go to the school for a whole year. So after a year, they transition you to an actual high school, right? So within that year, You're supposed to learn English. You're supposed to be very familiar. You're supposed to be familiar with the basic stuff, or well, enough for you to understand. Like they will see if you're ready for high school or not. But yeah, that's why ESL comes in. You have to test out an ESL class, like, you know. But yeah, I was there for the year. Like I said, once again, when I took classes, it's an actual school. It counts because you have to graduate school in order to go to actual high school. So once again, like in class, we had reading class. It was frustrating. I remember I used to come home and just lock myself in my room and start crying because it was frustrating. Like I understood what was saying, but I could not just, in class and the teacher would be talking or asking us questions. I mean, some of my classmates were able to answer. Some of them were in the school before I came in, so they knew a little bit about it. But yeah, like the teacher would ask a question. I know the answer, but I cannot form it in a proper, not even proper, I cannot even form it in English sentence, period. Which once again was frustrating. But yeah, with in school, literally everybody in that school spoke at least 3 to 4 languages, but we were not allowed to speak our native language because it will not help us. We are there to learn English. That's a step that we need in order to go to actual high school, right? So speaking our native languages is not going to help us. But yeah, if you're caught speaking your language, you got in trouble. But yeah, I was that school for I think I got here at the very in January of 2013, and in 2014 I got sent to actual high school. And yeah, I started with, so back at the international school, I got held back a year, right? Because to learn once again. I got it at 8th grade. They put me like, what's it? Is that elementary school? Yeah, 8th grade. In 8th grade. But after a year, I graduated 8th grade, and when I got transitioned into high school, I started as a 9th grade. Yeah, a sophomore. Yeah, or freshman. I don't even remember, but I think I started as a sophomore year. No, freshman. Anyway, but within a year, I've had a chance of I was able to have the accent until this day, but before then, you could not understand. I mean, sometimes like my accent, if you think my accent is heavy right now, back then it was heavier. Like my accent was heavy, and most of the time when I said something or I was reading, the teacher couldn't understand. The teacher couldn't understand me, but with time, I still struggle with English. I'm still learning after how many years. Yeah, anyway, yeah, that's about the school. And eventually I moved on. I graduated, and I speak 3 languages. I speak French. Anyway, it was a Togolese, one of Togolese native language, and English included. And yeah, I'm not gonna tell. I'm not gonna talk about my age. If you can guess what age I am, you can do the little math. But yeah, my birthday is in November. I had my birthday like last month, birthday to me. But what else? Y'all know what I do already. I'm in the army. I just hit 5 years in the army. I hit it last month. I hit 5 years in the army, US Army. And should I tell what I do? No, I'm gonna let you guys guess what I do. I don't talk about my job very much because I don't talk about it unless like people. But yeah, have I always wanted to be in the military? No, right? Growing up as little kids, we like dreams. My dream was to become a detective. Don't even ask why. Like I was so obsessed with police work, not police, like detective, how to interrogate like people, to solve crimes, or and I love watching crime shows like way too much. But before then, yeah, I really, I wanted to become a detective. That was something that I strongly I believed in. I was like, one day I'm gonna become a detective. I was still in school, but I said I'm gonna become a detective. And as I became more mature, I'm like, maybe a doctor. I don't know. I was thinking about like different careers, like different things that I do that's going to help my life move forward. And during that time, like my dad is in the military, he's still in, and I've seen how he's able to travel, how he talks about the military, well, army specifically, how he talked about it, and I'm like, I have I'm a very active person, meaning I'm the type of person like I like to do like works that involve like let's say like move around, being active, like super. I don't like sitting in one place. I have to be active. I had to like move. I like to do something that will like keep me very busy. And as with the type of personality I have, thinking about the job that's going to match my personality, I guess. And when my dad started talking about the military, he tells me, the good, the bad side of it too. And I'm like, that doesn't sound bad. I love challenges. Like, don't get me wrong, like new things scare me, but once I like to push myself, I like to challenge myself, I like to push myself, I like to see my limit, I like to see how far I can go on doing things, right? And I don't give up easily too. So yeah, that's when he started talking about it. I was still in high school, and he always talk about it. I'm like, you know what, this doesn't sound bad with the way I am. Well, I had him in the back of my mind, but at the same time, I was like, detective. Eventually, how in high school, different career professionals, wherever they come to your high school to talk to you about things you want, like careers that you're interested in after graduating, right? And yeah, army recruiter, well, recruiters who came to high school to in high school you have your pro friend or whatever. So when they came, we approached them, and I knew a little bit about it because my dad is in it too. But then we talked to the recruiter. They're like, we asked questions and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't remember how many people specifically in my group, but a few of us were interested. And we were like, you know what, that doesn't sound bad. Maybe that's something that we want to become soldiers. We young, like at the time we didn't actually understand it, but graduating, you want to start thinking about like, okay, a job, I need to do something with my life, right? Then yeah, that's where it started from. And I was to see the recruiter or whatever, but I didn't really get involved in until I graduated, obviously. But yeah, out of my entire group, nobody joined except me. At some point, I really became sure of. I was like, yeah, this is something I definitely want to do. And yeah, then fast forward. Well, I didn't know. Okay. After graduating high school, I did not join immediately. My dad telling me I need a little bit human experience. I need to gain people experience, I guess. I was like, sure, because I came here, I went to school, and I didn't really have people experience, I guess, that's how you put it. So after high school, I took a little bit break, and which got me into working at a retail store, Forever 21. That's where I gained my customer skills, I guess, like how to deal with different people, how to handle problems. It kind of prepped me for being in the career field that I am today, knowing how military is, how we deal with different people. Ugh, I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, I was at Forever 21. I stayed longer then I attended to INH like on C. So I think I was there for at least maybe 2.5 years or 3 years. I was there at retail store. I was killing it, man. But yeah, that's where I gained my people experience. I had some bad, I got some crazy stories that I would tell later on. You know, when working in retail, we seen like the type of customers we get, all the customers we get, but I'm still traumatized. But it was a good experience, whether good or bad, it was really good. But yeah, it was it wasn't, oh my god, come on. It was good. It was good and bad. Like, yeah, but after that, then I joined. And fast forward, and here we are today. What else? Oh yeah, okay. Now we're in the military career. So I remember when we were at MEPS, and MEPS is like after you took the test, that's where basically where the process happened before you get shipped to basic training. Anyway, we were at MEPS and we were sitting in a classroom because there were other people as well. We were sitting in a classroom and somebody walked in. I was like, I think it was a staff sergeant, I can't remember exactly. And they were like, who wants to jump out of airplane? This is how I got to airborne school anyway. And they're like, who wants to jump out of airplane? People raised their hand, and I was like, first the sergeant that was talking to us was like, who wants to be airborne? Then a few of us were like, airborne? She was like, who wants to jump out of airplanes? At that time, I didn't know what it was. I didn't pay attention to it. I was like, jump on an airplane, y'all crazy. Because they gave us some paper to fill out, and I just ignored it. I didn't understand what it meant. I was just like, whatever. But then I went to basic training. Then I got to AIT. AIT is a school that you go to learn about your job before you go to your unit. So in basic training, and the drill sergeant there was like, who wants to go to airborne school? Then, so after I got to basic training, and by the way, all this was like during COVID. Well, COVID kind of started dying down, but COVID was still a thing. So I got shipped out like very late because everything got shut down and pushed back. But anyway, so we were in AIT, and the drill sergeant was like, who wants to go to? So back in basic training, I learned about what airborne was, right? Or what airborne is, because some of my battle buddy, they say right after basic training they're going to airborne school. Then I found a little bit about it. I was like, oh, so this is what airborne is. Anyway, then I was like, okay, that's very interesting. So I went to back to AIT, the dress on. So I raised my hand. I don't know what I was thinking. Airborne, if you don't know what airborne is, basically you jump out of airplane. Yeah, don't. It's a cool experience. And yeah, and I raised my hand. Out of the entire platoon, there were like a couple of us who raised our hand. It sounds scary, don't get me wrong, who raised our hand, but out of the entire platoon, in turn, I was the only one who actually like stick to it. Because some people, you can, when you volunteer, you can always like change your mind later. But yeah, some people are like, yeah, I love my life and I'm not doing that. But funny, like I was the only one out of the entire platoon who didn't change my mind. And the funny thing, when we were in still in AIT, and my drill sergeant was telling me, oh yeah, Fetsi, you gotta start running, because you know in airborne school they run a lot. So like she would kind of train me a little bit, and some of the drill sergeants they were trying to scare me. I was like, oh, so you the one going to airborne school, right? You sure you're gonna make it? They don't like quitters and blah blah blah. It's like you know. But anyway, fast forward, after I graduated AIT, I got shipped to airborne school. Airborne school, it's 3 weeks. I'm not gonna go into detail, that's a separate video later. But yeah, after airborne, I got shipped to my duty station, which was my first duty station, which was Alaska. But I'm not gonna get into it, that's another video again. But yeah, What else? Oh, things that I like to do. I like to watch TV a lot. I like to watch TV. I enjoy crime shows. I love watching crime shows. It's just fascinating how like human brain works and how like people react under pressure or under very tough situations, how people react, what people say, what people do, you know. And what else? Yeah, I have so many things I want to say, but I don't want to. This is just like to tell a little bit about my about me. Oh my god. But what else? I think that's all I can think for now. But yeah, I think I am going to end the video here. I'm gonna end the video here. For the upcoming videos, I'm gonna talk about how basic training went, how AIT went, how airborne school went, and how when I got to my first duty station, how it was, and all that, you know. But that's separate videos. But yeah, these are little fun facts about me. So